Have you ever silenced an idea because you feared what others might think? Have you ever felt that deep, restless pull inside, that whisper saying, this isn't who I really am? By the end of this episode, you'll see that the voice inside you, that intuition you've ignored, might just be the key to unlocking your greatest power. Because today we're diving into Ralph Waldo Emerson's Self-Reliance piece, a timeless manifesto for authenticity, courage, and the art of trusting yourself in a world that constantly tries to make you something else. We're going to go over a core set of his ideas. So first is trust yourself, and it's trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Emerson's central message is simply but revolutionary in that your intuition is sacred. The deepest truths of your life aren't handed to you by society, religion, or experts. They're born from within. Imagine standing on the cliff edge, a precipice, looking out at a vast ocean. You're terrified to jump. Everyone behind you says it's too dangerous, but deep inside you know that jump represents your calling, the life you're meant to live. That hesitation, that's the conflict between your inner voice and the world's expectations. Emerson says the greatest tragedy is not ignorance, it's distrust of your own soul. So what if for 1 week you acted on every genuine intention without overthinking or seeking validation? You'd quickly realise how often you'd outsourced your decision making to fear and habit. The next idea is nonconformity. Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. Emerson warned society would always pull you towards sameness. It rewards imitation, not originality. But the price of conformity is your authenticity, isn't it? Think of Vincent van Gogh, unrecognised, dismissed, and even ridiculed while still alive. Yet, by staying true to his vision, he painted his way into immortality. Nonconformity isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's obedience to your own nature. Think about your daily life, your job, your relationships, even your social media. How much of what you do is truly you, and how much is a performance for acceptance? The next idea is independence and self-sufficiency. True freedom, Emerson believed, comes not from wealth or status, but from inner self-sufficiency. He said, the greatest wealth is not having everything, but needing nothing. Think of Steve Jobs, who famously wore the same black turtleneck every day. Minimalism wasn't a fashion statement. It was a declaration of independence. The less dependent you are on approval, trends, and comfort, the freer your mind becomes to innovate things. So try a self-reliance detox. Spend a day making 0 decisions based on what others might think, from your outfits to your opinions. You'll feel fear at first, then freedom. The next idea is inner genius and intuition. To believe your own thought, that is genius. Emerson believed every person possesses a divine genius, a spark of universal truth expressed through individual perspective. You failed 1,000 times before inventing a light bulb. But it's not failure, only feedback. The genius wasn't intelligence alone, it was faith in the inner compass. Your intuition is like a compass buried under noise. The world keeps adding magnets, social approval, fear, comfort, pulling the needle off true north. Your task is to remove the magnets Silence the noise and find your north again. The next idea is the courage to be misunderstood. Is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Every person who's ever changed the world, from Socrates to Galileo to Martin Luther King, was once misunderstood, mocked, or condemned. When Galileo proposed that the Earth orbited the Sun, he was placed under house arrest for heresy. Yet history proved him right. To live with courage means to risk being wrong in the eyes of others while being right with yourself. Think of a belief or dream you hide because they wouldn't get it. Now imagine explaining it to your future self 10 years from now, who already achieved it. Would that version of you still care what people thought? The next idea is consistency is overrated. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Emerson wasn't advocating chaos. He was advocating growth. You're not meant to hold the same beliefs forever. Picture a snake shedding its skin. If it clung to the old layer out of fear, it would suffocate. Likewise, your old beliefs, habits, and identities are meant to be shed as you evolve. Consistency is comfortable, but evolution is necessary. You're allowed to contradict your past if it means staying true to your present. And that's one of the problems with social media, isn't it? That, because you said this one thing 10 years ago, it means that you still feel the same way. That's unfair. People do change. I'm not the same as I was 15 years ago, and neither are you. We are in a constant state of evolution. The next idea is nature as a mirror for the self. Emerson often drew from nature to explain spiritual truth. Nature doesn't imitate or apologise. The oak tree doesn't envy the rose. The river doesn't question its flow. You don't see the sun apologising for shining too brightly. You don't see the wolf asking permission to howl. Why then do we, beings born of the same nature, hesitate to be ourselves? When you reconnect with nature, you remember what Emerson knew. Self-reliance isn't arrogance, it's harmony with who you were designed to be. The next idea is society as a threat to individual greatness. Society is a joint stock company where each shareholder surrenders liberty for security. Emerson warned that society values comfort over courage. It trades innovation for stability. True greatness, he says, rarely comes from the collective. It comes from the courageous individuals who dare to stand apart. Elon Musk was laughed at when he said he'd make electric cars mainstream. Now Tesla defines an era. Society mocks, then imitates. That's the pattern of history. The world rarely celebrates the individual until long after they've left it, typically. So don't seek applause, seek authenticity. The next idea is the divine spark within. Emerson's transcendentalism taught that each person holds a piece of the divine, a fragment of the universal spirit. Trusting yourself then isn't ego, it's reverence. To ignore your intuition is to silence the divine within you. Think of yourself as a stained glass window. The light that shines through is the same divine source, but the pattern is uniquely yours. Your job is not to copy others' colours. It's to let your own light through. The next is action, not words. Emerson ends his essay not with theory, but with a challenge. Act. It's not enough to think independently. You must live independently. Boldness, not belief, is the ultimate proof of self-trust. Think of the Wright brothers. No formal engineering degrees, no corporate funding, just two men who believed in their vision and acted. That belief lifted humanity into the sky. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for certainty. Self-reliance begins with a single courageous act. one step that says, I trust myself enough to begin. Emerson's self-reliance isn't just philosophy, it's rebellion. A rebellion against imitation, conformity, fear. It's a reminder that the most divine act you can perform is to be unapologetically yourself. Because as Emerson wrote, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment.